Well, thanks everybody for coming out. Obviously, you know, everybody's aware it's a pretty big ball game tomorrow night, and you know, our kids are excited. We're excited. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's sold out, and it should be a really good basketball game, and we're looking forward to it. It'll be a great challenge. That's easy.
Jeff, how much do you think Muffet McGraw has brought up last year's games against you guys to her team?
Well, I mean, most coaches, I mean, you might talk about it briefly, but you know, last year's last year. You know, I mean, it's nothing that we've talked about. We're a different team. They're a different team. You know, you go back and look at film and say, okay, hey, what did we do that worked for us? What did they try and do? But you know, you really focus on the task at hand. You really focus on what do we have to do? Because, like I said, we're different teams right now.
What challenges do they present this year? How are they different from?
Well, I mean, you know, you add Brianna Turner back into the mix. She's just a great rim protector. She scores. She's a great athlete. You know, it just gives them more depth. A player of the year in the league, I think it was Maisha's sophomore year. She may have been coach's pick for player of the year. Brianna was the immediate pick for player of the year. So you've got a very talented player back. Michaela Vaughn's back. You've got a lot of, you know, depth for them now that they might not have had last year, but they're all very talented. So we're quite aware of what we have to do is we're going to have to play a great basketball game. We're going to have to be on point defensively. We're going to have to take care of the basketball, and we're going to have to figure out a way to rebound.
Jeff, you like to talk about, I guess, one game not necessarily defining your season, and you say that a lot before the Kentucky game, but a game like this, I mean, the obvious importance, the consequences, how do you say not stress where this program can go if they win this game?
Well, you know, it's one of those, if we can get beat by 30 and end up having a chance to win a national championship like Notre Dame did, I'll take that. I mean, I'll be happy to go up there and lose by 33 if we're able to reverse the script. You know, I don't think Muffet said, hey, oh my gosh, we have to quit. You know, it's one game. It was the biggest game of the year back then going into it. So now our year's over. That's why I always say it. I mean, it's one game. You can't get too excited, and you can't get too high or too low. So you go into it. Do we want to win? Of course we do. I mean, do we understand the importance of this? If we're fortunate enough to win this game, then we'd have to come back on Sunday and win. And there's no easy games in our league right now. And we could have a shot at being ranked #1 in the country. It's never been done. But that's not my ultimate goal in January. You know, our ultimate goal is to hopefully be able to win a national championship in April, finish being ranked #1. But it's going to be a battle. I mean, there's no doubt. They're a very good basketball team. They're very well coached. They've got great players. We've got great players. Obviously, I'm sure their fans are going to be excited for the game. So it's going to be a ball game that we're going to have to be able to withstand some runs and then keep our composure at the same time.
Jeff, since joining the ACC, this game has always been fun, but last year, now this year, this is really a rivalry. It's part of the women's college basketball landscape. What's it like to be a part of that?
Well, it's fun. I mean, you can ask AC, she'll tell you. I mean, it's great to be able to know you're going into an environment where it's going to be a sold-out crowd. You know, we're very blessed here, fortunate that when we come for our home games, we're getting between 8,000 to 10,000 every single night, and some obviously for the bigger games more. That's not the norm. You know, Notre Dame, they have the same type of fan base. It makes every game you go and play exciting. It's what these kids love to do. They love to play in front of people. You know, I say it all the time. I'd rather go up there in front of a packed house, win or lose. It's the excitement of the game. and it's great for our players and their players to get that opportunity. But, you know, it's a ESPN game. It's going to be, you know, talked about. Now we have to do our job and make sure we go up there tomorrow night and play well.
Recognizing that it's January, what is the value of winning this game for your program?
Well, it's an RPI
Being
game.
number one,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
are.
it's an it's a huge RPI game. No matter what, I mean, they're one in the RPI. We're 7 or 8 in the RPI. So what it does for you, come March in seeding terms, is going to, you know, hopefully allow you, if we would continue to win, to allow us to play our first 2 at home, get possibly a 1 or 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and all of that gives you hopefully a little easier path to get back to a Final Four. But there's a lot of basketball to be played before we can worry about that.
If you win the game, do you have a list of calls that you're going to make recruits that are going to hear from you that night?
Now, you know what? We actually, Tim, we'll sit there and make calls, win or lose. It really doesn't matter. I mean, I haven't seen one game change our recruiting in the terms of if you win one, 4 kids commit. You know, I've yet to have that happen, unfortunately. So we continue. That's kind of how we've done our recruiting. We stay consistent. We're just not calling the kids when we win. You know, when we get beat, we pick up the phone and call them too, because I think that's the important part of recruiting is the consistency and building relationships. You know, it's not always good. I mean, there are tough times. So I want to make sure these recruits know that, hey, we are human and we're going to be here through the good end of it.
You guys have had a couple of close games, but for the most part, they've been one-sided. What has made you guys so difficult to beat?
We're scoring the basketball. You know, that's one thing that we have done extremely well this year. We're shooting close to 50% on the season. You go through and you just look at all of our players. I mean, thank you, sir. Jazz is shooting, I think, she's shooting 58. Bianca's shooting close to 60%. AC, her overall shooting percentage is 46. But like I tell people, what I like to do is figure out a kid's true shooting percentage. So she's made 31 threes. So I give it 1 more point. So that's 31, divide that by 2. So now you're at 15. So give her 15 more made baskets to figure out what her true 2-point percentage is. And now she's up in the 60s. And we're going to have to do that tomorrow night. You have to score. It's not going to be a 52-48 game against Notre Dame. They've got too many players that can score the basketball. Both times that we were able to win last year was because we were able to score, and we're going to have to do that tomorrow night.
Jeff, Asia has, I think, 6 of her last 36 from 3. But while she's been in that slump, she's doing so many other things to affect the game.
Yeah, she's passing the ball extremely well. She's really developed that part of her game for her senior year. 52 assists and 21 turnovers. You know, her percentage assist to turnovers her senior year is such an improvement from her first 3 years. And that's what she has to continue to do. If teams are going to throw 2 people at her, chase her, or double her, she's got to be able to find her open teammates, and she's been doing that for us. But, you know, we're going to need her to shoot the ball well. I mean, it's not a secret. You know, I don't need a performance like she had last year, but we're going to have her, you know, shoot 40% from the 3-point line, be aggressive, get to the free throw line some, and then we're going to need all of our kids. AC's going to have to play well. She'll have to shoot the ball well. Now, am I expecting a 7 for 10 from the 3-point line like it do? No, but you know, she's very capable of shooting close to 50% like she has the entire year from the 3-point line. So it's going to take a team performance for us.
Do you feel like you will have to go on your bench in a game like this?
We'll go as deep as we have to. I mean, it's one of those, it's a feel. I mean, we sit here and I look at what we've got, who's playing well, and if we've got five that are playing real well, I'm going to go with those 5. You know, I'm not one that just says, hey, I'll take someone out to take them out. But I do feel confident. I think Kylie's been playing well. Mikasa, even though she hasn't been playing a lot of minutes, but she's been very productive with the minutes that she's been in the game. Dana's been playing well. So We can go 8, 9, 10. I mean, just depending on what the needs are and how the game's going.
How surprising or I guess how pleasing has that been to know that you can go that far on your bench, especially in a big game like this?
Well, it's refreshing. It's nice to know that you've got players that I've got confidence to put in the game. And it's going to be good for all of them. I mean, I'm just telling you, like, even at warm-ups, I mean, you walk out there and warm up and it's a sold-out crowd, your adrenaline gets going. So what we've got to make sure of, we can keep that adrenaline in check at the start of the game. You can't get too high and start going 100 miles an hour and then lose track of what we're supposed to be doing game plan-wise.
You mentioned the need to score, but also rebounding. Is their size probably the biggest concern going into this game?
Well, I mean, it's not just their size. I mean, their guards rebound the ball extremely well. So they've got the size at all spots. You know, their guards, their post. But we've just got to make sure we put a body on beat. You know, we've got to do everything we can to rebound the ball in front of us and not above us. You know, and if you watch a game tomorrow night, and if you see us jump straight up, it's probably not going to be a good night for us. We have to keep people behind us and rebound in front, so we're jumping out to get it, so we can get a transition game going also.
Do you for tomorrow night, you mentioned putting in perspective, is there any, knowing that there will probably be more important games like this in March and in April, is there anything that you do? Will you hold off on certain plays or schemes or anything and hold them for later? Will you do anything from that?
We're trying to win. You know, we're going to do everything we can to win. It's not something. I mean, we know we'll get a chance to play them possibly one more time in the conference tournament. You know, you do at times. If you're playing somebody twice during the regular season, once at home and once on the road, you might save something for when you get the opportunity to be back at home in front of your home crowd. But, you know, when you're just getting one shot at playing them during the regular season, we'll do everything we can to try to win.
In terms of what you'd like to see your team start to improve in the conference, and this game could call out, if you had one or two things, what would they be in this game?
Well, we've got to take care of the basketball. I mean, we had been doing a really nice job of that before the break. And then our first two league games, we're back up to about 15 turnovers a game. We've got to get that thing down to about 9 or 10. I really believe if we want a chance to win tomorrow night. We've talked about rebounding the entire year. And, you know, we're not terrible at it. But what I try to explain to our kids is, if we're going to turn the ball over, then you have to rebound. Because you've got to get your possessions back. If we can limit our turnovers, then all of a sudden we're going to get the same amount of shots. You know, if we out rebound our opponents by 10 and we're turning it over 18 times a game, it's the same number of shots that I'm probably going to get in the game if I turn it over 9 times but only out rebound my opponents by 4. And at the end of the game, I got to get more shots. And if I get more shots, I've got a chance to win. So that's kind of what we talk to our kids about. And that's why we talk about free throws the way we do. Everybody talks about free throw percentage. I don't care about free throw percentage. I care about the number of points we get at the free throw line. You know, you go one for 2, but I get the O board on the second one and put it back up and in, I'm getting 3 points. If you make both of those, it's 2 points. Because there's no chance for an O board. So at the end of the day, all I care about is points. And for us right now, we've got to get shots because we do shoot it so well.
You have played on the road a lot already this season. Most of these players played at UConn last year. They played all the way to the NCAA, ACC tournament. How nice is it that they know exactly kind of what they're stepping into?
No, it's nice. It's nice. Now, our freshmen, it's going to be interesting to see how those 3 adjust to this because it's going to be the first time that we've been on the road in an environment like this. But for our returning players, it's really nice because they at least know what they're getting into. They know when you step up in there, it's going to be a great crowd. They're going to be loud. They're going to have to do a great job of communicating with each other because you're not just going to be able to hear me calling everything. You've got to repeat every call that's made. You know, it's the small things. That's where you can't lose one possession because you forget to tell your teammate what we're supposed to be doing.
I know it's hard to quantify, but from a freshman year to a senior year, have you had anybody that's improved in one area as much as AC has in her three, because I don't think she made one,
She
and
made
now it looks so automatic at times.
No, it is. I mean, it's dedication and hard work. It's really all it is. I've told her, you don't get good at something by accident. You know, and she put the time in. She still puts the time in every day after practice. She's in here at night. It's quite amazing. I mean, you're looking at a kid shooting 50% from the three-point line who did not, you're right, she did not make a three her entire freshman year. But, you know, I say it all the time. I go back to Angel when, you know, she sat there and told me her freshman year when she played for Tom, and, you know, she wasn't a great scorer. She wasn't a great shooter, and Tom said, hey, don't shoot it, just rebound it and defend. And she told me, she's like, I took that to heart. It was probably the best thing a coach could have ever told her. Because she said, she goes, no coach is ever going to tell me I can't shoot again. And it was just because she wasn't a great shooter. So she got in the gym and worked on her game. She went from, I think, averaging 9 points or 10 her freshman year to 20-something. Her sophomore, junior, and senior year was a 3-time All-American. Just simply because she put the work in. And that's what AC's done. And it is remarkable and it's fun because when somebody puts that amount of time into something, it's nice to see them be able to see the rewards that you get back. But it wasn't something that just happened overnight.
Confidence was with a victory tomorrow night. I guess you beat UConn later this month. I mean, knowing how strong they've been and your struggles against them, how do you feel about the long-term effect on the program and knowing if they can beat one or both of those schools, especially when you get into the tournament?
Well, I mean, it's a long way off, but I mean, that's one of those that, sure, if we're able to do something like that, that's fantastic for our program. I mean, your confidence, what it can do for you, but and I'm not just saying it because I've been in this league for 6 years, I believe now, and I'm pretty honest with my players. When we go into a game, if I think, guys, we're going to win by 15 or 18. I'm just telling you right now. So you guys can make it how you want it. If you want it to be a 5-point game, that's fine. But if you play hard, we're going to do this. We've got a great game on Thursday, obviously. But I'm telling you, our game on Sunday against Georgia Tech is going to be a battle. They got 2 freshmen that we tried to get. They're as good as any 2 freshmen in our league. Our league has changed. The landscape of our league has changed. Boston College is 11-4, I think, right now. A team that I think won 7 games all last year. So we're past the point of where I can just sit here and go, okay, if we can beat Notre Dame, then we've got to worry about UConn. That's just not how it's been, and I say that all the time about our program. We're good because we respect everybody we play, and we understand we're not just going to step on the floor and beat somebody. It just doesn't happen for us. We won the ACC championship last year by a total of 8 points. That was a win over NC State, I think, by 1. I think Virginia Tech by 2, and Notre Dame by 5. I mean, it's eight total points to win 3 games. Those could have gone either way. We're not just stepping on the floor and beating somebody by 20. So, yeah, if we could figure out a way to win tomorrow night and then win out the rest of January, then we can talk.
You can talk pretty well.
I'll have a vodka tonic with you.
Yeah.
All right, young lady. Hey, they're more welcome to come back.
How is that different from the Final Four game?
How's it different? I think it's not as much pressure on us because it's still early in the season. We know they're a great team and we're a great team. It's going to be a battle, but it's not as much pressure yet.
All systems were go for you down to Duke. Just talk a little bit about that performance down there.
It's just like Coach said, I put all the work in the gym, night and day, every summer, and the confidence that my teammates and my coaches and my family members give me to knock down shots, and that's what I did. My teammates looked for me and made it happen.
How much does having played at UConn a year ago and playing through the Final Four and ACC and Carolina, how much do those games prepare a lot of you for what you're going to face, tomorrow night?
Oh, they prepare us greatly because like Coach Walz said, the ACC is a great conference. Every night is going to be a tough game. So you have to be prepared, even against teams that you think, others would think, outsiders would think aren't good. No, they're coming in to give you a run for your money. So we always have to be ready to go, no matter who we're playing. And Notre Dame is a great team, so we know that we have to prepare and be mentally and physically ready for the game.
Have you watched them play or seen anything on film? If so, what challenges does Notre Dame create?
Oh yes, I've watched them play. They're a great rebounding team, and we haven't been doing so good rebounding this year. So we have to come out and find a way to rebound. They score, we score too, but we have to find a way to make them volume shooters, make them take 25 shots to get 10 to 15 points, and just make everything for them hard.
That night was so magical last year here at the Yum Center. How do you put that out of your mind? And as Coach said, it was last year.
That night was so magical. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. So we just have to be prepared and focus, because I hope nobody on our team is expecting for our game to go like that again. So just knowing that it's going to be a tough game, it's going to be a grind-out game, but if that happens, that's great.
You talked with the freshmen a little bit about that. Also, they haven't experienced anything this huge yet. Have they asked you questions? What have you said to them?
We just tell them to be prepared. As freshmen, this is very different, because how important this game is. They probably never played in anything like this. So just telling them to be ready, because when your number is called, the team is depending on you to come out there and do what you're supposed to do. Not focus on the crowd or the nervousness that they might have, but because we prepared them so much in practice and in games, they should be ready to come out and do what the team needs them to do.
With all the big games that you all have played over the years, like big UConn and Notre Dame, where do you feel like this team, the veterans in particular, have really gained something that can help tomorrow night?
I think that mentally we've learned each other. We've built a chemistry of knowing what's the best place for each other to get the ball, or who we're looking for at a certain time. And I think that's the biggest thing with great teams, just being on the same page all the time mentally, not just physically. And I think we're getting to a point where everybody knows each other, and when somebody's hot, get them the ball.
You feel like this team is kind of like at that point in general, where you're at that point where you can really finish the job in a hostile environment?
I think we're there, but our game on Thursday is going to be a great test, because this season we haven't played a great team like Notre Dame, and it's going to be exciting because, like I said, they are so good in so many different areas, and it's a test for us to see where we're at and how we're going to fight against them.
What is the significance in your mind of being number one in mid-season?
It's important, but at the same time, we can't focus on that. It's been a lot of times where the underdog beats the number one team, and that's not as important to me as it might seem, but I just hope our team isn't focused on being number one, because you got to go out there and play every team like they're number one. That's what you should do. Every time you go on the court, you should play hard like you're playing number one team. So that's not the biggest thing for me.
Do you see it as a milestone for the program, first time ever?
Yeah, that'd be great for the program, because we haven't done that. That's exciting to make history, this team to make history in the program. But I hope that's not our main focus.
AC, after the blowout last year, then the win in the tournament, when you guys are going up there, I mean, it's at their place, they have a sense of pride. Do you think they're going to come out and really try to set the tone? And how do you not get overwhelmed by that?
Oh, I definitely think that they're going to do that, but that's what we prepared in practice. We talked about that in practice, and we know that, yeah, they're going to hit us with their best punch, but we have to be focused and stay mentally dialed in to be prepared to fight back. They're going to go on their runs, but we're also going to go on our runs, and just being able to quiet the crowd and be settled in and not let them get us all worked up and just play our game.
These games really become like rivalry games.
Yes.
I mean, how much fun is that as a player? Is that why you come here, to play in these kinds of games?
Yes. That's why you go to a top team. That's why these games are what players live for. It's so much fun to to go at somebody else's place while they're booing at you and the crowd is screaming at you, and then just to quiet the crowd and go out there and get a win. Like, this is the best. These are the reasons why basketball players play basketball.
This is a 4 o'clock game in LA. How are your family going to be following it and taking off work or anything like that?
They might be working and watching at the same time. I don't know, but they always find a way to watch the games or, you know, keep up with the stat line. So I know they'll be watching.
It's one thing to be able to go 10 deep, as Jeff has been able to do. I guess, how gratifying has that been, and maybe to a different extent, how gratifying has it been to you to know that you can win without him even being in charge? And I think it was the UT Martin game where, you know, he sat on the bench the whole time.
It's just great, and I think it's just a testament for my teammates. Everybody has worked to get better, and the fact that we can go so deep into our bench is amazing. A lot of teams aren't doing that. A lot of top teams aren't doing that, and for us to do that, it's just a testament to my teammates and how hard we've worked.
Did you watch the Notre Dame Mississippi State championship game last year?
Yes.
Did you watch it with teammates? You remember where you watched it? Who you watched it with?
I didn't want to watch it live.
Okay.
You know, I was going back and forth, but everybody was talking about it, so I kind of would turn to it and turn it off, then turn to it, turn it off. But it was a great game. I watched it with a couple of my teammates. Some of them didn't want to watch it, some of us did. But it's just a fire. It's just like fire under us to come back and compete this year to get to that spot when we're playing the national championship.
Knowing how easily you handled that game last year, was that a bitter experience watching them on the nets?
No, it was just, for me, the whole time I was watching the game, I'm just thinking that should be us. I'm happy that they did get there so that we could play them this year, because I already know that when we get to their gym on Thursday for that game, they're going to be so excited. They're going to be pumped up to beat us, because last year we beat them twice. So it's just going to be an exciting game, and I can't wait to play against them.
Coach Norman last night talked about needing some, quote, nasty down low to take on folks like Turner and Shepard. How do you and your teammates prepare yourself for playing that kind of aggressive physical game?
It starts in practice. Every day, you know, trying our hardest in practice, and our practice players come out and always give us a great effort. So it starts in practice with that nastiness, like she said, because we are going to need that, because they are great rebounders. And in order for us to win this game, we're going to have to find some type of way to rebound.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.